Good morning. Welcome to morning practice with Olivia on December 18th, Monday. We're closing in on the solstice this Thursday, the solstice being the shortest day of the year, and an important day in the rhythm and life of the planet, because it's just we can begin to feel a sense of possibility as the days begin to grow longer and the light returns. But right now we're really in the acute angle of the shadow of the year. This today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are our longest, darkest years of our longest, darkest days of the longest, darkest years. Oh no, longest, darkest days of the year. And it's interesting actually, because I said years. I spent a lot of time over the weekend reflecting on 2023, which was a very amazing year for me in multiple ways. And I encourage you, when you get some time, to reflect on your 2023, even think about what were the highlights of your 2023, or what were the sort of like key themes that seemed to come through the year and your experience. And then what do you just want to release and let stay in 2023 as we move into 2024? And with an eye on 2024, what experiences, what emotions, what new growth are you envisioning? Because it's a very exciting year. And it's worth taking time to reflect on these things and give yourself a sense of perspective of where you've come from and where you're going to. So yes, December 18th, what else is happening today? The sun is conjunct the galactic center. Very galactic, cosmic energy. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. It's an interesting. There are so many interpretations of how the galactic center aspects play out, which is why I'm hesitating. But I think it'd just be interesting to see how the day unfolds. And certainly, I'm feeling a little bit like it's a dark day because it's raining here in San Francisco. And it is, one of the darkest days of the year. So we still don't have much daylight yet outside. And so, let's begin our week gently and kindly to ourselves. Always emphasizing that theme of being a good friend to yourself. And we've been discussing the 8 limbs of yoga. I sort of consciously mention meditation, breath work, and movement as part of our practice here, which you can refer to as dhyana, pranayama, and asana, as the Sanskrit terms for 3 of the 8 limbs of yoga. Last week we talked about the yamas. The yamas and niyamas, they are 2 different limbs, but they're very interwoven. Our yamas that we talked about last week being ethical principles that we employ to navigate the world. Generally, how we behave towards those outside of us, but I think also they really do apply to how we have a relationship internally with ourselves, and especially when we think about ahimsa, nonviolence. Nonviolence begins with ourselves, because if we are actually practicing any kind of violence outwardly, it's usually a reflection of an internal violence. And then the other yama, satya, truth, is a really is the way to identify that, being truthful with oneself. And we also talked about asteya, not wanting things that aren't ours, not wanting a situation to be something it isn't, wishing for things that aren't freely given, which we live in a world where well, I think even the human journey, even if you were not living in a world where things are constantly shiny and flashy and lovely all around us that we want, but even relationships, um, things like how we navigate our personal dynamics, asteya can be very useful to bear in mind, not wanting something that isn't freely given, and loving that. Brahmacharya, our favorite, moderation, always moderation. Um, in order to have consciousness and appreciation for what we do have, it's really kind of necessary to employ moderation, to not be seduced by every whim of the mind, the body, but to practice moderation in order to gain discernment of what is right and what, is not necessary, or or other. Let's just say other. And of course, aparigraha, non-hoarding, not being defined by our possessions, not hanging on to things, because this is interesting. We do place a lot of identity in our objects, our homes, our houses, and I think aparigraha does really bring that aspect of ourselves into consciousness, and is always worth examining and evaluating. So we're going to go into the niyamas this week, and the first one is such an important one. And we talk about it a lot, and you'll hear it mentioned a lot in yoga classes everywhere, and that's saucha, which is purity and cleanliness. And that really does when we talk about the niyamas, their relationships with ourselves, that's really the foundation upon which we build everything else, our relationship to the external world. When we have a relationship to cleanliness, not just as a body or as an environment, but as a mind, it makes it much easier to be discerning, to be clear, and clean the mind by recognizing distracting thoughts for what they are, recognizing distracting impulses for what they are, and also just really creating for yourself that really feeling of enormous well-being when you take care of yourself by practicing cleanliness and purity towards yourself, And only you can really do that for yourself. No one can do that for you. And certainly I wouldn't use Saucha as a another reason to judge yourself or tell yourself off. It really is much more about cleaning things up, the way you would clean up a house, the way you would clean up an environment, which again, you know, the clean house, the clean environment, I'm sure you, as we all do, feel a better sense of functionality and a better sense of clear energy when we purify or clean a space up. As someone who does some energy work, I certainly see the benefit of it for myself and for people and places I work with, clearing the energetic field, releasing emotions, energies that aren't ours, ridding the system, the physical system, the nervous system, the muscular tension system of attachments and entities that are blocking our free expression. So with Saucha in mind, especially as we move towards the solstice, you know, this kind of idea of an inner purification, an outer purification, it's kind of timely. We're moving into a season where there's a lot of invitation to celebrate. And I actually applaud that. I say yes, as human beings, we should celebrate. We should um, what's the word I'm trying to find? Joy is so important, and the more that we create joy together, again, you know, we practice together as a morning practice to magnify our energy. When we get together to celebrate, we magnify that celebration energy, and you know, that is beautiful. That is, I think, you know, we're doing something very important and spiritually significant when we cultivate joy. And I'm going to leave it there. I think I've rambled on enough. So cultivating purity and cleanliness, as well as cultivating joy, is good at this time of year and any time of year, really, because these are principles that are not seasonal; they are eternal. And so let's take a moment to meditate and come into our internal space, maybe step away from the thoughts, the things that want to distract and engage us this morning, and just sit tall and breathe. Make sure you're sitting in a position that's comfortable for you to hold for a moment. And you might bring one hand to your heart and another hand over top. And as I did that, I find a little yawn. You may want to do a little side to side swaying. Any movement that you feel called to, just get some movement out. And then find some stillness. Let your body know you're checking in. Breathing normally, hands over heart. Feeling the warmth and energy of your palms, connecting to the warmth and energy of your heart center. And just allowing that magnetic field to dance And you'll feel the light of your heart growing. And as your hands connect to your heart, you may call to mind a situation in the world, a person or many people, somewhere you would like to direct and offer the benefit of your practice today to, and just let that come to mind. Your heart is so powerful. That light and love that you send from your heart is your superpower. And just breathe into that light and that love. Just whatever you're feeling there, just let that be. Knowing that there's a bright light inside of you that is totally unique to you. And your hands are holding that heart light tenderly. Breathing in and out. Feeling your heart light extend. And taking a few deep breaths, coming back. Just a very short meditation today. I'm sensing that we may be imminently interrupted. You can hear someone outside the room. So we'll just get into practice, I think. And we'll go over to our mats and do our breath work from there. If we are interrupted for a moment, just we'll go with that, but we'll see how it goes. This is a donated space. We're very grateful for it. So you may want 2 blocks and a blanket or 2 for your practice today. The blocks are helpful if you have tight hamstrings. They just generally helpful to have 2 yoga blocks for any practice because they come in handy in a number of different ways. And then the blankets, as you can see here, great support for underneath your knees. They can be supportive in other ways. And we'll just get started in our mat. And we'll do the pranayama on our mat, I think, this morning. Okay. Oops. So let's head over there. Oh. And if you're feeling a little stiff as you make your way to the mat, and you actually might already be on your mat, that is completely understandable. It is Monday morning and one is stiff. I'm gonna extend my legs as we do and let them just wave, let the feet wave. And maybe using your hands, just give your legs a bit of a massage. Your thighs. Actually going to keep my feet covered at this point because it's still a bit cold in here. And I'm going to place a block underneath my hips again. And we'll do some, I'm going to just have us go into our gratitude breath because if we do get interrupted during the breath work, it will be won't support the practice. So taking an inhale, our arms come overhead, hands meet in prayer, prayer comes to heart, and just take a moment to offer love and gratitude for your body, for your unique experience as a human being, the gifts you were given during 2023, the hopes and the wonder you envision for 2024. Give gratitude and love for your amazing heart, your amazing nervous system that does so much. This body, this being, this personality. You get to walk the planet as this particular soul, which is such a unique experience and such a beautiful experience. So, and then inhale, arms overhead, hands to prayer. Prayer comes to heart, and we just offer love and gratitude for all of the people in our lives, even the people we don't know, the people who make our lives possible, our friends, our communities, our families, our loved ones, our dear, dear pets who are our soul family. Just all of the other beings of consciousness that touch our lives and make it better, and just that we're so grateful for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll inhale, our arms overhead, hands come to prayer, prayer comes to heart, and we offer love and gratitude for this planet, for the nature that we get to be amongst, the wonderful trees and mountains and oceans, and the food that it sustains us with, the incredible light, the incredible skies, the incredible water, water of consciousness, oceans, seas, rivers, streams, and the pools we get to swim in. Just an incredible, incredible thing, water. And this planet is so unique because of its water. So thank you so much that we have that experience and get to be in that, the light shimmering off the surface of the water. Such a beautiful, beautiful sight. And you can let your hands drop onto your legs, maybe give your legs a bit of a massage, maybe just do some torso circles in one direction and torso circles in another. And I'm gonna have us come off the mat. You might want to put your blocks at the top of the mat. And I'm just gonna have us come into a child's pose. So knees are gonna be wide, toes are touching, and forehead will rest on the mat. And you can just wiggle your hips here and let your forehead roll a little. It is okay if you are feeling a little sleepy and a little slow. It is early. And whenever you're watching this, you know, even if it's in the middle of a busy day, it's so good to take time and just relax a little bit, allow yourself to be in a resting position, supporting the body, letting the body know that it's you're consciously taking time for yourself to reset. And as you're here in child's pose, I would bring your attention to your breath. Breathing deep into the belly. Come up to all fours. Actually, we're gonna go to Sphinx. So your elbows are gonna be underneath your shoulders. Your forearms are going to be flat in front of you. I'm just stretching my legs there. And this is a really stable, supported back. It's sort of a back bend. And then the heart center just beams forward, and just allow the weight of your thighs to really just melt into the mat. Any tension you might be feeling there. And then curl your head in and reach your head up. But don't crank the neck, just be very gentle. And then what we'll do is we're going to press up onto all fours from Sphinx. And then, as if we were going to go back into child's pose, just reach back. And then on your inhale, on your next inhale, you're going to come forward and just drop your hips towards the mat and beam the heart center forward. And then exhale, press back. If you were going to go to child's pose, but not quite making it. And then inhale, come forward, letting the hips drop towards the mat. Oh. Exhale, pressing back. Inhale, letting the hips drop. Come back to just a neutral tabletop. Pressing up into your cat, feeling the space between the shoulder blades puff up, and then letting the belly drop, lifting the tail, lifting the head. And again, pressing up into your cat, puffing up between the shoulder blades, and cow. Heart comes forward and drops, tail lifts. And take some intuitive movement in your cat-cow. So roll the hips, head, shoulders in any direction that you feel helps serve and wake up the body. And then as you come to a straight spine, you're going to press that left foot back. Just roll a little bit on the ball of the foot to wake it up. And you're going to lift it up. And then you're going to lift up your left hand. You might want to use your right leg as a bit of a kickstand. Oh, stretching your hand up to the sky. As your left leg is straight back, foot is flexed, and then you may want to just hold that ankle or foot supported Shavasana. And then release. And down, we'll do the other side. Right foot presses back, just beyond that ball of the foot, just a little bit of movement here. Kicking out the left shin so that you have support. Right leg comes up, foot is flexed, right arm comes up. And then either grabbing the ankle or foot, or just letting the balance be in a supported half moon or supported Shavasana. And then releasing that. We'll take one cow to a cat. And then we'll reach the right arm up. And you're going to thread it underneath the left hand so that the right shoulder rests on the mat and the right temple rests on the mat. And this is a nice just shoulder stretch to open back hips are just above your knees. And then press into your right hand, left hand. Reach your right arm up, and then we'll take the other side. Reaching the left arm up. Left arm comes underneath. Left shoulder releases on the back. Left temple, left side of the head, resting on the mat. Hips are above the knees. You can press a little bit into the right hand to help you get into that stretch a little, or not. Allow that silence that you might feel to fill you. Raising the left hand up. And we'll come into puppy dog pose. So our hips are right over our knees and our chest is going to come down, or our forehead really. And arms press forward, palms flat, pressing into the mat. You can tent the palms here for a slightly more active stretch. And then we'll come forward again into the Sphinx. And then let everything come down. Arms are at the side. Palms face down, thumbs are out, and we'll just press into those hips so that the feet lift, the shoulders lift, the head lifts, and then the hands. Shalabhasana, locust. Just be here for a moment. And let that go. Take a moment on your mat, just feeling. You might even feel your heartbeat as your chest presses into the mat here. Having that heart awareness. Hands are going to come underneath the shoulders. We'll press back up to our knees. And we're going to press back to a downward facing dog. It's the gentle dog where we pedal out the legs. Lifting the tail, straightening the arms. Feeling the length along the spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Bending in the knees to really access that length. And then slowly making your way to the top of the mat. We'll inhale, extend our spine long, crown pressing forward. And exhale into your forward fold, just folding over the legs. Sway from side to side. Maybe grab your elbows. Ragdoll. Let your thighs bend, let your torso drape onto your thighs, so bend your knees generously. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then using a straight flat back coming up. To stand, arms reaching overhead, hands come to prayer. Prayer comes to heart. We again give thanks and gratitude for everything our body does and is, and offer our practice to our intended destination. Inhaling, arms come overhead. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Inhaling. Step back to plank. Exhaling, come down to the ground. Inhaling, cobra, a little baby cobra. And then exhale down. Press back to downward facing dog. We'll lift the right leg up and the right foot will come between the hands. The left heel will spin down. Welcome into warrior two. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. Arms are in a T. From warrior two, we're going to reach the right arm forward. Do a little reverse warrior. Feeling the length along the right side body here in your reverse warrior. And then straighten that front leg as the arm extends. And you're going to reach out, reach out, reach out. You may want a block on the inside of your leg. You may, I think I demonstrated using a chair last week. If you have no props and you are needing to be at a higher level, just put your elbow against your thigh while your front leg is straight and let that support the torso as you turn upward. Otherwise, you can use a block, your hand can come to the mat, and then we'll just come into triangle here. Really feeling the extension of the spine of the hand. Really turning the right hip under as if it was trying to kiss the inner left thigh. And then bring your hand down, frame your front foot, bending into that front knee. Runner's lunge. We'll bring the knee down and just come into a lunge. Anjaneyasana. Reach, reach, reach. As you press into the back. Hands frame the foot. Tuck the back toes, move your back knee, your left knee back an inch or so. And just gently straighten the front leg. Just move in and out of that. Got some very unconventional sequencing going on today. And then rebending that front leg, straightening that back foot, paralleling both legs as you press your hands along to the left side, long side of the mat. Spine is straight, feet are parallel. Look forward. And then just fold. Feeling the hip bones lift. Feeling the back of the thighs sort of stretch and straighten. Breathing. And we'll press into our hands. Let's come to hips and press up to standing. And then we will arrange our feet to take warrior two to the left. So your left knee is at a 90-degree angle. Your right leg is straight, arms come out to either side. Gaze goes over your left hand. And just be here for a few breaths, feeling into your warrior two. Firing up the energy in that leg and your legs just a little bit. We're not going to be too crazy here. Reaching that left arm forward. Come into your reverse warrior. And then let that go. Second warrior. Straighten the leg. And again, let's come into triangle. So you reach forward, really bending right here at this hip. Imagine my hand was right there at the hip line and the torso was just falling. Nothing else is changing. So you're really reaching as far as you can with the torso. And then when you get to your point, either support yourself on the leg. If you don't have a block, put your elbow on just above your knee on your thigh, or using a block on the floor to give yourself support, or the floor itself. If it is uncomfortable to turn the head up, you can just face your head forward like this, or look down on the mat. Do not crank your head or do anything that doesn't feel good in your body. So we're cultivating a relationship of understanding with ourselves, which means, yes, we do things that are uncomfortable in order to grow, but we don't harm ourselves in that process. We challenge ourselves, but we don't harm ourselves, and that's different. Really, it's about listening to what the body is telling us. Is it more comfortable to look down or ahead? Do you access more light when you open the heart? And we'll come into our runner's lunge, bending into that left knee, straightening the back leg, the right leg, beaming the heart forward, and then just placing the knee down on the mat. We'll come into a low lunge, arms reach overhead, hips can drop. Hands frame either side of the foot, toes tuck. Give yourself just another inch or so as you straighten that left leg. And don't fully straighten, just give yourself a nice bend in the knee. Allow there to be some movement here. And then rebending into that front knee. Again, we'll use our hands to press into our feet. Coming again to the long side of the mat, finding that nice straight spine as our hands are underneath our shoulders. And then you're going to take your left hand and put it right underneath where your head is. And you're going to place your right hand on your sacrum and just press and turn the chest, the heart center, toward the right. Feeling the length. And then bring that right hand down. You're going to place the right hand right underneath the head. Left hand will come to the sacrum and just press into that right hand, turning the heart center to the left. And then left hand will come down. Both hands allow the spine to straighten. And then once again, fold. And if you want on your fold, you can take your left ankle with your right hand. Pressing up to a straight spine. And fold again. Left hand to right ankle. Just a very little twist. Pressing up to both hands. And we'll bend our knees and toe heel our feet in until we come into a nice yoga squat. Now, if yoga squat is not accessible to you, placing a block under the hips and being in the squat here is fine. If you don't have a block and this is really inaccessible and uncomfortable, you will just sit on your hips with your feet apart and your elbows pressing into the inside of your knees. I really encourage you to be in the squat if possible, because that's my button. Sorry, everybody. I don't know how that happened. I must examine how I place the microphone. So here's the squat with the block again, but really try to cultivate, if you can, beginning to take a squat without the block, or having, maybe if your heels are up, having a blanket underneath your heels here. Good. What we're gonna do, just to build some strength in the legs, from our yoga squat, we're gonna stand up and then come back down, and then stand up and come back down. And it's really just to build our strength in our core and our legs. So take a nice inhale here and nice exhale out, and then press into your feet, stand all the way up, and then bend, letting your tailbone drop, coming back into your yoga squat. Pressing up, standing, bending to your squat. Do that once more, pressing into your feet, standing straight, tall, letting the tailbone drop, and then come back down into your yoga squat. And you can reach your right arm in front of the knee, lifting the left into the sky, turning the chest. If you want to take a bind here, you're welcome to. I'm not going to demonstrate that. And then coming back to center. Left arm reaches out in front of the left knee. Right arm reaches up. And feel free to bind. And then come back to center. And we'll come now onto our bum. And we'll do Janji Shasana. So folding your right leg, right foot to the inside of the left leg. Let's turn and face the left leg today. So turn and orient the left leg. And you're gonna raise your right hand, leaning, and really fold from the hip. Don't fold from the upper back or anything, but fold from the hip. So like you're reaching out over the leg. And then at some point you're gonna take that foot or not, you're just gonna keep reaching and allow, using your left hand, just give yourself a little bit of support to turn the chest towards the left leg. And then if you want to take it into a deeper fold, breathing. And then reach again, reach. And then this time we'll orient over the right knee, arms come to a T, reaching the left hand, and then allowing the right hand to just draw an arc over above you. And even, add a little movement. Might feel nice. Sort of a dancing quality. And then come back to center. We'll hook our hand underneath our left knee, bring it up. Right leg will come out, left foot will come in. And again, let's orient ourselves so that we're actually facing the right leg, using your hands to prop yourself up. Right foot is flexed, left arm reaches. And again, you're really bending at this hip point. Feel like you're bending at the hip point as if my hand were right there between the top of your hip and the bottom of your torso. And then you can either continue to reach, you can take the foot, the right hand can press into the ground, which will help facilitate turning the torso towards the right. And a slight twist here. Let go, come up. We'll face our Left knee, that's the left knee. Arms come to a T, reaching towards the right foot, reach, reach, reach. And then letting the hand drop wherever it is and tracing that arc over your head. And again, you may want to do a little movement here just to explore how the shoulder socket may feel in this position, kind of feeling out for a sweet spot in the stretch. And when you find where you want to be, give that a couple breaths. And then come up to center. We'll place one foot over top of the other, hold that foot in. Give yourself a bit of a hug. So your right foot is over your left knee. Maybe just bring that knee in with both hands and just curl in here, letting the nose touch the knee. Just letting the hips really release into the mat. Feeling the back of the neck curling over your knee. And then let go. Reach your right arm up. Place the right hand at the base of the spine. You can either just use your left arm to hold the knee or hook the knee. Really, on the inhale, finding length in the spine. And the exhale, twisting deeper. And face front again. Little counter stretch to one side for a moment to your left. And then pressing into the feet, taking the hands in a semicircle behind you. As your feet come to the other side, your left leg is underneath your right leg, right foot by the left knee. And again, let's just hold that left knee in and curl in, letting the nose touch the knee or the forehead, whatever feels comfortable. Really feeling the stretch between the shoulder blades here. Breathing. Allowing the hips to sink in this position. Then come to straight. We'll raise our left hand up. Left hand will go at the base of the spine. Right hand comes up, either holding in the knee or hooking the elbow on the knee, accessing the twist. Feeling the length of the spine as you inhale, exhaling into the twist. And you can let that go. We'll open our legs wide to Upavishta, forward fold, removing the flesh from out of the sit bones. We'll come down into the forward fold with a nice straight spine. You may want to have a block to place underneath your forehead as you come down so that you can just rest in this position. Feeling the backs of the legs open and stretch against the floor as you allow gravity to let the weight of your body pull you further into the stretch.
really want to have a lovely straight spine here. So please take the support that's necessary and that feels good. It can be helpful to fold a blanket underneath the hips as you go into these wide-legged forward folds. Elevating the hips allows the access of the bend of the spine without so much compromise.
And we'll press ourselves up and come onto our back. Knees are pointing up, feet are flat on the floor. And we'll just take one little bridge pose very gently, pressing into our feet, lifting the hips, feeling the front of the thighs stretch, back of the shoulder girdle pressing into the floor. Let your arms just be relaxed. It's not a super active bridge. And we'll bring that down. And then I would like us to take a very short supported bridge after that on the lowest, widest setting of the block. If you don't have a block, just take another bridge for a few moments. So again, pressing up, letting the lowest, widest block come under your sacrum, letting the weight fall in, letting your arms fall out and your legs. Just being here. As you're ready, you're going to bend your knees. Just press into your feet to remove the block. Put it to one side. Let your hips come right back down and legs come right back out. And you're in Shavasana. Allowing all of your weight of all of your body to melt into the mat. Letting everything go. Letting any sense of doing anything go. Just releasing, relaxing, releasing, relaxing. Scanning the body for anywhere you might be gripping and letting that go. Softening the jaw, softening the hips, softening the shoulder blades. You're going to bring some very slight movement to your toes and very slight movement to your fingers. Maybe turn your head from side to side. And then curl to one side of the mat into a fetal position. And then slowly make your way to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed. I encourage you, after our session is over, if you need to take a longer Shavasana, to just return to that resting posture. And we'll just breathe, inhale and exhale together before we inhale. So inhaling, exhaling, inhale. Om. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Thank you for bringing your attention, your awareness, your desire to cultivate a greater relationship with yourself. I am so honored by sharing this journey, this path together. You have unique and extraordinary gifts. Your heart is utterly magical and it is yours. And the more you share that with the world, the more all of our hearts together can magnify each other's presence and power. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible. We make the impossible possible. Thanks for sharing with me today, and have a wonderful day. I hope to see you tomorrow, and as we move towards the solstice, stay warm, stay dry, stay cozy. Thank you so much, everybody.